Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. I'm here with Bob Allen, coach of the softball team here at West Virginia State. Thanks for coming on the show, Coach.
Thank you.
No problem. Now let's go into your coaching background a little bit. This is the first time we've had you on the show. I know you were an assistant coach for a while, then became head coach. How did all that go down?
Well, I started out and coached 5 years at Nitro High School, and then my daughter came here and played, and a year after that I came as an assistant and was an assistant for 9 years, and this is my 7th year as a head coach.
Okay, great. Now, last year finished in 6th place in the conference, and had a strong showing in the conference tournament, which is overall a good year. And I talked to the girls a little bit. They called it a disappointing year because obviously your goal is to win the championship. So, what were your feelings of last year? You had a young team and you did very well.
Well, we were a little bit disappointed because we went into the season and we lost a left-handed pitcher in an auto accident, and that changed the whole aspect of it. And we ended up going the whole year with 2 freshman pitchers, and they did a great job. I mean, one of them won, I think, 18 games, and the other one won 13 games. But it was a lot of pressure on them, and we were young. We didn't have a great deal of depth, and we didn't get the production out of the lower part of the lineup and hitting-wise. So, I thought our tournament was good, but we go in there every year to win it. And, when you win 34 games, that's respectable. But we just want to win 40 or more games if we can.
Yeah, no, this is a very difficult conference. I talked to the girls a lot about that. The WVSU is very strong. Of course, you have Wesleyan that's won it last year. I think they won it the year before that also. How difficult is it to go into this conference tournament and come home with champ?
Well, it's if you can go into that tournament on a roll, you got a chance to come out and win the thing. Every school in this conference is getting better every year. It's just even the teams that we play on our spring break are stronger this year than they were last year. So, if you don't show up to play ball for 2 games every day, you're going to get beat. And that's what we stress to our kids. I remember in years past that the difference between 2nd place and 5th place has been 2 ball games that we lost by 1 run, and that we actually gave away. So you got to play every play of every game. And
now, great defense was the staple of last year's team. I think it was 6th in the nation in fielding percentage a year ago. And that says a lot about your team. I mean, that's very strong defense.
Yeah, I think we ended up 16th at the end of the year, but that's out of like 290 teams, I believe, which is pretty good. But at one time we were 6th, and we did have a couple errors in the conference tournament, which hurt us and which dropped us back. But our coach, Nip Anderson, he does a phenomenal job with these kids. I would hate to play third base on this team because he wears them out, and Kayla Sturms does a fantastic job. But he works them extremely hard, and he's very demanding, and he expects perfection, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you about next, your coaching staff that you have working for you. You mentioned one there. Just talk a little bit about the people that work for you and every day, day in, day out to make this team better.
Well, of course, Nip, he's our defensive coach, and he's been doing this forever, and he knows a lot about pitching and a lot about hitting. Carrie Blackwell is our conditioning coach, and we also brought on Charlie Small this year, which was our only senior last year. Carrie does a phenomenal job. If you come to West Virginia State and you come to play softball, you will be in shape, or you might as well not come. She works these kids extremely hard, 2 miles a day, 7 innings of heck, whatever. And they're extremely spent when we get them, which makes them better ball players, because when your legs are gone and you have to fight through it, makes you a better ball player. So this 19 games in 9 days, we'll find out how much this conditioning does for us, because that's part of it. If you're not in shape and you go into this stretch about the 10th game, you're going to die. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen to us.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it there. How difficult is it, to go through that kind of grueling schedule, that many games in a short amount of time? I mean, that's a lot to ask out of anybody to keep that kind of conditioning up.
Well, we're kind of at a disadvantage because our spring break is later than everybody else's. I've tried to get in the Rebel games in Florida, and they end the week before our spring break starts. So I scheduled some tournaments this year, but because of the rain, we lost 10 games to rain. And now I've made all those games up by rescheduling games, but the problem is they're all going to be grouped together now. We picked up Winston-Salem State on spring break, and Queens dropped out on us, so we picked up Coker College. We're still going to play 50 games, hopefully, if we don't get rained out. But if we get a bunch of rainouts, we'll be playing day after day after day. So it's difficult in the classroom also because, you know, they got to make these classes up that they miss.
Weather has been a big story to start this season. You only played 3 games so far. Some games in the conference have played 20. How difficult is that? I know for the girls, they're kind of sitting and waiting. They're ready to play, to have to sit back because of weather.
Well, Friday we play 3 really strong Pennsylvania conference teams. We play IUP, Gannon, and Bloomsburg. All those are ranked. Bloomsburg is 24th in the nation right now, I believe. The only thing that I hope really helps us is because we have 5 pitchers this year, we've been able to do a lot of live hitting, and we've scrimmaged a lot, so that's the same atmosphere as playing in a game. Last year we couldn't do that because we only had 2 pitchers, and I was afraid we were going to get one of them hurt. So right now we've got 4 pitchers and 1 hurt, and I think the little girl from Canada is on her way back. I'm hoping that she's going to be able to throw some down south.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the accolades that some of the players on the team last year received, starting with Brittany Hyatt. She was Player of the Year before that. She was Freshman of the Year. She's been a star from you since the day she stepped foot on campus.
She's been a real find for us. You know, it was just kind of a lucky thing, and we got her to come here, and thank goodness we did because she's a player. And what you have to understand is when you get Freshman of the Year, and you hit over 400, the next year you're not going to get to see the pitches you saw your freshman year. And I think she hit 445 or 454, something like that, her sophomore year, and she's not getting anything to hit. I mean, she's having to, you know, if she gets a good pitch, she's got to drive it because they're going to pitch around her. Luckily, we got Kayla Sturms right behind her that led the conference in RBIs last year. So Brittany does a good job of advancing runners, and of course she's got home run power. And the difference between this year's lineup and last year's is I think from the number 2 spot to the number 8 spot, we have home run power. These kids are capable of taking it out of the park. And number 1 and number 9 are normally slap hitters, which you don't expect them to do that. But we've got some power. We brought another girl in from California, Maddie Best, and she's got home run power. We have a transfer from Salem, Desiree Giffen. She has home run power. So, and then we've got the kids, Margaret Osborne, Bobby Harper, Brittany, and Kayla, that also have home run power. So, you know, we can put a hurt on somebody if they throw a fat pitch from top to bottom, and hopefully we're going to do that this year.
Yeah, now you kind of touched on it, all the experience that you have coming back. What was once a young team now is a team that's played a lot of ball games, thrown a lot of pitches, taken a lot of at-bats. How much will that help your team this year?
Well, I'm just extremely excited about this team. You know, it broke my heart that we haven't been able to play yet because we were ready and fired up. Now we got to go through that all again, and you know, we're going to be playing some teams that's got 20 games in, but we just got to suck it up and play. You know, if we play good defense, I think we're going to hit. I think we're going to be all right. I'm very excited about this team. I think there's more talent on this team than we've ever had at West Virginia State. Now the question is, can we make it happen? And we're going to find out probably next week.
Now let's a little more about this about the upcoming games. You finally get going in the conference, I think, starting at the beginning of April. Right. And, you know, that's when the conference really gets rolling. How tough is the WVIAC year in and year out? You mentioned every team gets better every year.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, I don't know what AB was picked, but they've started out great. They've got some big wins against some Pennsylvania teams. Wesleyan 17-3. Shepherd, one of their pitchers is out for the year, but that doesn't mean a whole lot because they may throw the same girl both games like the University of Charleston does. They throw Rossman just about every game. So you can't go a whole lot by the games they play before they go into conference, because what they're going to do, if they've got one pitcher that's on fire, they may throw her every game. So I'm not a big believer in that, and I'm not going to do that because I think you're better off to throw 2 or 3 pitchers. But every coach has their own style, and I've got some good, we've got Marlena Fry, which probably, I don't know whether she set the state strikeout record, but she came close. And Marlena is really not there yet, but every day she progresses, and she throws probably 61, 62 miles an hour. The girl from Canada Jade Weinkauf has an unbelievable drop ball and a great changeup. Is a real competitor, and do anything you ask her to do. And then you got Kelsey and Sarah coming back, and when those two are on, they're hard to hit. Sarah's got a curveball break 1.5 feet.
That's a lot of experience coming back.
Yeah. I'm excited. I really am.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. That does it for another episode of the Coach's Corner. Thanks to our guests, Sarah Pellegrin, Brittany Hyatt, and Coach Bob Allen. To follow all WVSU athletics, just go to WVSUYellowJackets.com. For all of us here at the Coach's Corner, I'm Scott Wagner, and I'll see you next week.